Hello, users, and welcome to another episode of Above It All. This is a show where I bring to you important news, things that you should know to arm yourselves with knowledge in this crazy universe that we live in. And this one was particularly egregious, in my opinion. Law enforcement seizes masks meant to protect anti racist protesters from COVID-19. The masks reading "Stop Killing Black People" were meant to quell the spread of the coronavirus, which has disproportionately affected black Americans. One of the most alarming statistics that I like to cite here, even though it's a little old, a little out of date, but as of I think sometime like at the start of May, I think 80% of hospitalized patients in Georgia were black. Hospitalized patients with COVID, right? They are 30% of the population in Georgia, to my knowledge, right? So that is like an absolutely absurd like uptick. You know what I mean? Like that is just like when if you see that number, I really just don't understand. I can't fathom how you could not want to, or at least like you should show some sort of casual interest in preventing racism in this country. I mean, like, it's so obvious. You know, it's one of those things where I read an article that apparently George Floyd had the coronavirus. Like, imagine getting the coronavirus, surviving the coronavirus, just to be killed by some bitch ass cop. Like, that's some bullshit, man. That is some bullshit. Pisses me off. So I've got some highlighted text here that I'm going to read to you the important bits of this story. But yes, so basically somebody was sending boxes of masks to protest sites to protect against the spread of COVID-19, a disease that has had a disparate impact on black communities. Like I said, I don't know what the current numbers are. I probably should be continuing to look them up, but honestly, I've been a little distracted, so I'm sorry for being a terrible YouTuber. The Movement for Black Lives, M4BL, spent tens of thousands of dollars on the masks they had planned to send all over the country. The first 4 boxes, each containing 500 masks, were mailed from Oakland, California, and were destined for Washington, St. Louis, New York City, and Minneapolis. Okay? This is a mass mailing endeavor to make sure that people are supplied with protective equipment. That's one of the things that's been really great to see in these protests is people handing out masks, people handing out safety equipment, people handing out hand sanitizer, people just acknowledging and understanding that COVID is a problem. And that is in stark contrast to these right-wing fucking goofball goober protests like last month where they all just like proudly didn't have masks on and said that the coronavirus was fake, right? And they just needed to fucking get a manicure, right? Like this is a stark contrast. I have been to some of these protests, right? When I was in a protest in Virginia, almost, if not every single person I saw had a mask on. I saw maybe a couple dozen people out of like 1,000 or so, without masks on. So it was like, and I would imagine that reason is because they just didn't have any and people who were distributing them ran out. That's what I would imagine. But again, like, if you've ever been to one of these protests, you know that the people at these protests are real human beings with real demands for justice. They aren't clownball, cornball, goofballs with fucking Stormfront tattoos on their neck or whatever. Like, that's the thing, is like, these are real people who are trying to protect themselves and their families. And obviously you know where this ends. But the items never left the state. The U.S. Postal Service tracking number for the packages indicate that they were seized by law enforcement and urged the mailer to contact the U.S. Postal Inspection Service for further information. And so again, like, you can just have your shit seized by law enforcement and then oops, thousands of dollars down the drain. Okay, this is not only a violation of the First Amendment, this is just a violation of fucking human life. This is this is not a pro-life position. You know what I mean? Like, this is not something a pro-life person does, is prevent 500 people from having adequate safety equipment. The government isn't providing that. Look at New York's fucking Governor Cuomo saying, well, if you don't wear a mask, then we'll arrest you, but we're not going to give you masks. So Okay? I mean, like, the masks cost like fucking like $5 at the maximum, for like a relatively competent mask. Like, you can mass produce that shit with the Defense Production Act and give that to every fucking citizen relatively easily. But of course, they're not going to do that because why would they, right? Why would they help their citizens? This is all an elaborate plot to ensure that as many protesters as possible get COVID. That's why they're arresting people, not rioters. They're arresting protesters, not rioters, specifically, and not charging them and processing them for 24 hours, letting them rot, seizing their masks, their cell phones, seizing their protective equipment, any hand sanitizer, anything that they've got that can help protect them medically speaking. They seize that, put them in a holding cell with unidentified amounts of people, that may or may not have COVID for 24 hours up until, and then just releasing them. Because they know, all right, we probably gave these guys a deadly disease. They'll be dead in a few weeks. We got this in a wrap. That's the plan. They want to kill us all. This is not like a hypothetical. Like, this is a serious thing that people need to realize. Within a week from now, once these protests hit officially 2 weeks old, we are going to start seeing a big uptick in the fucking COVID cases around this country, right? And this is all part of their plan, right? They don't want to open fire and start mass murdering and massacring civilians. That's bad optics. They want to just, because they've already swept coronavirus under the rug. The Trump administration pretends it's fake news. They pretend it's the lamestream media Democrat hoax, right? So it's like, if we can kill all the protesters via the Democrat hoax, that's way better than killing them with fucking gunfire, right? That's what the Trump administration is thinking. That's what Andrew Cuomo and Bill de Blasio are thinking. These are all fascists who want you all to die. They don't want you to suffer. They don't want you to fucking cry. They want you to perish. They are actively plotting to kill you. Not actively plotting. They are actively putting into effect a plot to kill you. So you have to be safe and you have to try to avoid arrest. I understand in a lot of situations being arrested can be noble. Not in this instance. You cannot be arrested. You cannot. You have to always be aware of your surroundings in these protests. You have to always make up an escape route at all times. You have to always be conscious of where you are in the place that you're in. If you're not familiar with the city, bring someone who is. You need to know where to go if shit goes down. If you get arrested, that is a death sentence, right? If you are of any medical, like immunocompromised, of any medical issue whatsoever, having COVID in this situation is practically a death sentence. They are trying to kill you. So I'm just going to read the rest of this highlighted text here. Now it appears they want to ensure that people who protest are susceptible to the same deadly pandemic that has failed miserably. They have failed miserably at stopping. Fuller added. The continued surveillance and disruption of social movements under this administration is as chilling as it is dangerous. It should be roundly condemned. The head of the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said Thursday that protesters should highly consider getting tested for the coronavirus and worried that protests could unfortunately turn into a seeding event. Again, no one did a damn thing about these fucking right-wing meme fucking militias going to the Michigan State House and bringing guns to the fucking state houses all across this country. That was fine. You had Fauci out there say, yeah, that probably could be bad news. And then Trump was like, no, they're protesting for freedom. Believe me, they're beautiful people. Liberate Minnesota. Oops, that one backfired, didn't it, Trump? But, it's one of those things where, again, this is now something that they're trying to hide under the rug. The mainstream media is focusing on rioting, ignoring the protests, and while New York City, at least, is targeting protesters at the expense in a zero-sum game, they are not targeting looters or rioters in any capacity. They are specifically going after specifically and exclusively protesters. For the reason is they want to give you COVID, they want to make sure you don't have masks, they want to make sure you get sick, and then they want to make sure you die. That's the plan. That is the game plan, okay? This is as far as I am concerned, this is biological chemical warfare. They are using tear gas, right? They are trying to stay as far away from these people as possible and then just give everyone the COVID virus. That is their agenda. That is their plan. Be safe. If you've gone to a protest and you weren't safe, I'm sorry, but you have to wear a mask at all times. If you don't want to self-quarantine, which honestly, I don't even know. I can't make a moral argument at this point. I really can't. But get a gas mask if you can. Like, I understand that's expensive. I understand. If you have any sort of organizational ties to your community and you think you may have COVID, see if someone can help supplant funds to get a gas mask or some sort of very protective equipment. You know what I mean? Like a regular mask is great and all, but like a gas mask, I mean, that's pretty good. You want to like, that's my thing, is you need to prepare yourself, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm just spitballing here. But either way, this is very dangerous, and I would highly recommend sharing this with people that you know. They are literally seizing medical safety equipment, okay? This is exactly what was happening. The Trump administration was seizing masks that were being delivered to Maryland. The Maryland governor, a Republican, by the way, I think his first name is Larry, but Hogan, I think he specifically like has some sort of National Guard, like guard mask transfers, so that the federal government wouldn't seize them and then just like put them in a stockpile that they'll never use. All right, so like this is one thing that the federal government, the Trump administration, they've been planning. They do not want people, especially poor people, to have safety equipment. This is why in Georgia 80% of hospitalized people with COVID are black, okay? This is why. This is on elaborate setup, and they got you by the balls, y'all. Again, I don't know. If you have any answers, if you have any ideas, send them in the comment section. You know, let's have a conversation. How do we adequately protect ourselves from this? I don't know. I'm not sure the exact method that would be the best. I don't know. So, all I know is that if you do have a mask of any kind, be sure to wear it at all times. Don't take it off unless you're far away from other people. Okay? Like, I'm serious. Like, I'm very serious right now. This is going to affect us, and you don't want to be one of the people that dies from COVID protesting. You know, like, again, if I were to die while protesting, I would rather be one of the people that's shot and killed by police than be one of the people that dies in a hospital bed from COVID 3 weeks later, okay? This is like, again, like this is just the whole thing, is they want you to not be a martyr. They want you to die in a hospital bed and no one to know that you died, no one to really pay attention to you dying. They want you, because they've already normalized mass death, 110,000 deaths. That's already been normalized, and they want to maintain that normalization. So I'm just saying, be safe. Watch some of these videos if you want more info on the protests going on and just in general. And I'm going to try to make more videos today. I hope you enjoyed. God damn it. Go watch the podcast. Just got uploaded. And if you don't want to, go watch another video. So thank you.